Bizarre Brain Comics. The Dark Librarian. Hello, my comic book fiends. It is I, your personal horror host, the Dark Librarian. And I am here to tell tales of terror. Oh, yes, and I'm there here for Bizarre Brain Comics. And here we are in Spooktober, the spooky month of October leading up to Halloween. And I'm here to talk about this terror tome, Afterlife with Archie. Ooh, number 10. This is from Archie Horror. And this was actually a trailblazing series for Archie. It says Afterlife with Archie, number 10 from 2016 from Archie Horror. And this features a variant cover by Jim Balent. And the writer is Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa. Sorry. And interior art by Francavilla. Okay. And Afterlife with Archie is a comic book series from Archie Comics beginning in 2013. It takes place in an alternate universe. This is not your traditional Archie style here. It's in an alternate universe. A zombie apocalypse begins in Riverdale. And it depicts the Archie cast fighting for survival. Again, the series was inspired by a zombie-themed variant cover Francavilla did for an issue of Life with Archie. It was Life with Archie number 23. And this series, Afterlife with Archie, was ran for 10 issues in its original run, and it was the first Archie title sold to the direct market exclusively, and also the first not marketed to children, but rather rated teen plus. And the other Archie titles, such as like Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and the like, are not directly related to this series, other than having basically the same cast of characters. So this was a fun series. I think this and a free comic book day issue for number 1, I think, are all that I've got of this series. But I did read the from the trade paperback compilation album of the first 5 issues, which I got from the library. So remember, if you are an avid comic book reader, you do not necessarily have to buy your own comics. Although I do encourage you to do so to help keep the comic shops in business. But if it's something that you don't want to buy or can't afford to buy your own, there is a wide variety of material available from the libraries, depending on the library where you live. Okay, and this variant cover, as I said, is drawn by Jim Balent, who is best known for his long run on Catwoman at DC in the 90s. And he is also married to Holly G, who is a cartoonist who has a long association with Archie. She did Sabrina and other stuff in the 90s and early 2000s, and in the last couple years recently has returned to doing work at Archie. And together they publish their own comic, Tarot, Witch of Darkness or something. I've forgotten the subtitle. I just looked it up, but now I've forgotten the subtitle. But Tarot. So So now we'll take a look. Now the interior art. Oh, I wanted to mention, of course, this is Betty and Veronica as cheerleaders with a golf club and a baseball bat, having pummeled a bunch of zombie cheerleaders who had been attacking them. And of course, this has absolutely nothing to do with the story inside, but it is a great cover, beautifully drawn. But one thing that does kind of puzzle me, because you see all the zombie leaders are decayed and desiccated, and yet somehow have full perky bosoms, just like the living girls. It's just funny. I just find that funny. Now, turns out this is the last issue of Afterlife with Archie, and does not take place directly in with the zombie apocalypse. This is a side story that is associated with it. It says before the end of the world. So that zombie apocalypse happened on Halloween, if I remember correctly, and but this is about Josie and the Pussycats, but it's not Dan DeCarlo's Josie and the Pussycats. No. Starts off in an interview. Josie is giving an interview. This is like being inspired, having been inspired by Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. There is this reporter, and he is interviewing Josie of Josie and the Pussycats in the lobby of a hotel during the night, and see the lovely artwork, the inking style of what's his name, Francavilla. Oh, jeez. Not his draftsmanship, not so much, but his inking style really reminds me of Alex Toth. And some lovely coloring, and from what I understand, he did the coloring as well. So, giving this interview, and she says, because she is a very popular singer, part of Josie and the Pussycats, right? And wanted to mention one thing here in the current time where they're giving the interview has the solid, straight panel borders. But most of it is told in flashback, and all the flashback has wavy, uneven borderlines. So she is telling him her story goes back to 1906. She was born in 1906. Well, just said, go with me. How she, her father abandoned her mother before she was born, and then she wound up being born in a back alley in New York. And her mother died from blood loss right afterwards. A friend took Josie and delivered her to an orphanage, which is run by Alexandra Cabot. Now, if you're familiar with Josie and the Pussycats, you know who Alexandra Cabot is in the regular series. But here she is running the orphanage, and basically raises Josie, and all these orphans are put upon and put to work, basically. And Josie basically grows up with these three other girls. They are Melody, Valerie, and Pepper. And they grow up, and they all love music. And while they're working, they're just singing. Well, then Alexandra, when the girls have grown up a little bit, they are singing, and she's always after them for dawdling. While Alexandra is entertaining a friend who happens to be a talent agent. Here's the girls, and he gets them together, and they become the Cabot sisters. And they are singing and dancing on stage at little venues around the country, basically the vaudeville. and all around. And they are sometimes a big hit, except when they go through the South, and they are threatened, like in I think this is Birmingham. I can't remember. Anyway, the KKK makes an appearance because they don't like Valerie, and they are basically run out of town. So the four girls says together forever, and here they are. But as they get older and they get bigger, and they get their first big gig in New York, and there's a great street scene here of Times Square. And is that Times Square? I don't know. Anywhere, I've forgotten just where it is, but it's where they have the Flatiron Building, because I recognize that corner from other stuff. I've been there, but I don't remember if I've been there. I've been to Times Square, though. And here the girls are, but it turns out that Pepper is going to have to drop out because she's marrying Uncle Chuck. Uncle Buddy, that's his name. Uncle Buddy. She's marrying Uncle Buddy because Uncle Buddy got her pregnant. So this is their last performance of all four together. And after that, some mysterious stranger, and you see his glowing red eyes, if that isn't portentous. This guy, he's wealthy, having a big party, wants the girls to come. Of course, this is when Buddy and Pepper have to go get married. They're hauled out to a big mansion. There's a big party, and the girls they got gowns that the guy had presented, and the girls all on their own put on a little show. Yada yada yada. The Uncle what's his name? Irving? I've forgotten his name. It doesn't matter. Wants to see Josie by herself, and and he basically coerces her into living forever, because it turns out he's a vampire, and we see it right there when he gets Josie, but she voluntarily is transformed. Then she's horrified at what has happened, and all this stuff. But then it doesn't burst into flames, but it's unpleasant. This direct sunlight is unpleasant. With the other girls, they're supposed to go back to the city, and she gets the other girls together and said, I've got something to offer you. They wait until nightfall. They go out into a shed, and she transforms them into vampires. Then they take off, go back to New York. But they go down to where they were kicked out by the KKK and make a side trip, take care of them. That's the end of the Cabot sisters. They come back as GI dolls during World War II, basically like the Andrews sisters. And while there's entertaining the troops, they're also taking out Nazis. Then they pop up again in the 50s and 60s, different groups. So this is a really good depiction. See if you can see that there of the girls. And they keep popping up, and they have different little adventures. They're almost involved in the helter skelter of Charles Manson. Then she describes how in the 80s, Pepper popped up, and as an old woman, she realizes what Josie is, wants her to change her because she's dying of cancer. Says it won't help. The pain, you'll be just as old and you'll still have the pain. You'll just be exactly as you are now. But then she did kill her, but didn't transform her. There are other things in the 80s and into the 90s. And here she is. Then they ask, why are you telling me all this? I said, I just something I have to get off my chest. And then she kills him. And the girls get all together on the plane, on the red eye, their private plane. They're flying to Riverdale, because Riverdale was their first show in Riverdale. And they've been back a few times. So here, it's been decades since they've been back. They're heading back to Riverdale. And this is when they get word that, there's something going on in Riverdale. It's not safe to land. Should we divert? And he said, no, let's go see what's happening in Riverdale. And he says, next, the Wedding Crashers. But from what I understand, that issue was never published. So it was basically ended on a cliffhanger. But I love the Archie horror. It's not. I mean, it's very. This is very well written. It's all over well produced. Better than a lot of the horror stuff I am seeing out there now. And even though a lot of horror fans aren't big on the Archie horror because it isn't necessarily as graphic enough or horrifying enough, I think it is. It just isn't necessarily as graphic as enough. It is very beautifully presented, depending on the independent creators. So that's all I had to share with you this time. I do want to thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do leave your comments down below. Have you read Afterlife with Archie? What did you think of it? What other Archie horror have you read and enjoyed, if any? Like Vampironica, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I love that. I've got Vampironica as well, and I enjoy that, and all that good stuff. But let me know what you think about any of it. And remember, comics are art.